Each module this year have showed us different ways how to handle different situations within school, and the things that is very critical in school today. Starting with race and ethics. In school, students deal with a lot, not just students, teachers as well. Being stereotyped, has based on their race, looked at different racism, ethnics, and the discrimination. In school now, they look at one person and judge them because of the color of their skin. You have to be able to understand them before passing judgment. Then moving on, we talked about the social justice and intelligence. This session itself was a lesson for students. Whether you stand up and try to stop something or you sit back and watch. Then after a while, teachers instill so much in the student where they feel like certain things they can't stand up for because the fear of getting in trouble, the fear of being looked at different or being an oddball. Then one has to understand that the risk they take is a lesson. Some people are willing to get in trouble just to prove a point because something's not right and not everybody will sit back and watch. But when you instill in the student to if you do anything, you do this, you'll get in trouble. If you say anything, you'll get in trouble. So them watching the fish basically sit down at a desk fighting for his life. Everybody is so scared because of what the teacher has told him. So nobody would stand up to fight for that fish to live. And moving on to the gender. No matter what your gender defines you, that's how when people look at you, they look at a gender. If you look at your students and look at a gender, you're no longer seeing them as a thou. And when I say that in my previous class, I learned that a thou is basically looking at a person and seeing that they just as human as you. But if you look at them and see nothing but their gender and judge them, you see them as an it. So when you look at somebody and see nothing but their gender and start stereotyping them because of their gender, their sexuality, how they identify themselves, their sex, you see them as an it, not longer as a thou. And when you stereotype a person by gender, looking at a woman saying all women are emotional or all women can't, no woman can do the job like a man. That's your stereotyping the gender. You no longer see them just as a person. You let their gender define who they are. Moving on to the culturally responsive teaching. With this, you have to understand that not every student is the same way. Some of them you have to approach differently. Some students learn differently. You have to understand that. And one of those modules listed have a warmer demeanor about yourself. When you have that, students tend to take more on you because they feel so more welcome and comfortable with you. So they trust you more. And the multiculturalism is basically, we talked about the perceptions of different cultures or cultural identities within an unfound society as a state or a nation. And you have the ability to react and relate to everyone from different backgrounds. And you basically identify with everybody because you're not just seeing one. You're just seeing it you're not just seeing it from one perspective, you're seeing it from all perspectives. And then we have one of the modules talk about the class and social ethics. Okay, each person comes from a different background. Each student comes from a different background. Some come from where they're very privileged. Some come from poverty. Their class kind of defines their ability on how hard they will go for something or how much they will struggle. Privileged students, some feel as if they have the easy way out. Poverty students have to fight for what they want because they're so unfortunate that they can't afford things a privileged student can afford. Like a poverty school, their books are not going to be as updated as a school that is more higher up than them. So one person benefits and the other one struggles. Alrighty, moving on to our sexuality. Like I said, let's say this, your sexuality doesn't define you. In this section here, talks about basically how you become one with your sexuality. You have to understand your students. You do not have the right to judge them. In this module, I basically listed things I feel like a person who's from a different sexuality, even the same sexuality, should know. Like your love is no matter what, you're human. It would still be a joy to teach them, to love them as you're on. And no matter what, you still shine bright. So I took that module to basically to uplift the students, how I plan to uplift my students. Because no matter what flag you rock, you're still awesome. And then the last one is religion. Religion, it was a very kind of difficult module to do because you don't relate to the same religion as everyone else, but to actually understand their religion is a blessing. I love the one video we watched, Around the World in 80s Faith, I believe that's what it's called. And it showed, just as the module talked about the art, it told stories. The film director even watched this language, he would say. It gave it from their perspective, a person of that religion perspective. And I feel like when you teach religion in school, you have to be mindful. You have to be respectful. And you have to be able to understand. Each module was a lesson learned.